Close to getting ready to start, so if you can find your seats.
So pink.
It is 10:05 and we would love to get started as close to right on time as we can.
There we are, girls. That's what I mean by pizzazz. Pink.
Ladies, can you help me out with something I would love to do? It was fun to watch all of the fantastic pink outfits come through the door. I am not a pink girl, as I was telling my good friend, and Julie is not either. And so when we found out the event, I went out shopping. I bought 3 pink things. So this is Nicole in pink, and it hardly ever happens. But what I will say was, what a fun experience to see all of you coming in just really beautiful, fun pink outfits. And so I thought we must take a picture of this. And so the first thing I want to do is get a group photo. And I want excitement. I want your hands up. I'm not going to make you stand up, although I would love to see the pink outfits. But even I wouldn't want to stand up. So, all right, ladies. So here we go. Oh, yeah. Ready? We're gonna do 1, 2, 3 Barbie, right? Because that makes sense. Ready? 1, 2, 3 Barbie. Now pink. 1, 2, 3 pink. Woo! All right, thank you. We cannot memorialize a room filled with beautiful women in beautiful pink. Well, welcome to the 9th annual Provo Women's Day. I always love to find out who has been with us for all 9 years. Anybody? Any long-timers? Oh, raise your hands proud if you have joined us 9 years. There's about 9 of you. That is impressive. I love it. This is such a wonderful day. We look forward to it. It's fun to plan. It's a lot of work, but just bringing you ladies here once a year is absolutely worth it. I can confide with confidence that this is one of Mayor Kaufusi's favorite events, a girls' day with friends, which is why we got you here, right? Who goes wrong with a girls' day with friends? This year's very pink theme is I Am Enough, inspired by Barbie. So by a show of hands again, who played with Barbies growing up? I did, absolutely. And now, who has seen the movie that has revitalized Barbie as if she needed it? Who's seen the movie? Woo, yes. So as you know, Barbie is known worldwide for her diversity of impressive roles and, of course, for her fashion sense, which brings all of you today in beautiful pink. I could certainly say the same thing for Mayor Michelle Kaufusi. Yes, let's hear it for Michelle. Woo, yes. As many of you likely know, Michelle was born and raised in Provo. More specifically, Michelle was raised by Provo, and she will be the first to tell you that. And because of this community is forever in her heart. Mayor Kaufusi was recently nominated for the 2024 Remarkable Women Award from Next Star Media. No surprise for anybody who knows her. There were nearly 100 nominees, with Mayor Kaufusi being one of the top 4 scoring finalists. We're anxious to find out the winner in April, but she's certainly already won in our hearts. Each finalist will be featured in a story that airs on ABC4 News and Good Things Utah. Mayor Kafusi's story actually aired this week, and I'm pleased to share more of her story with you. So we're going to start our event with this video, learn a little bit about Mayor Kafusi.
When I drive to work every day, my heart still beats fast because I can't get here quick enough because we've got so much to do.
The heart of Utah's fourth largest city beats strong in the chest of its first female mayor.
I love this community and I wanted to give back.
Michelle Kafusi is a true product of Provo, the sixth of 7 children raised in the heart of Utah County by a single hardworking mother and, quite literally, the community Kafusi now leads.
It's an amazing story because, you know, who would have ever thought that someone like me could be the mayor, especially from the family I came from.
Mayor Kafusi is a make-it-happen gal, something she picked up at a young age from her mom, a graveyard shift nurse who rushed home at the crack of dawn to help send her kids to school. And growing up had its challenges for Kafusi.
I had to come through a lot of rough issues. I mean, when you have police at your home in the middle of the night and you're getting in the backseat of a police car and going into the foster care system, who would have thought that someone can rise out of that and be the mayor?
A champion of causes that benefit her entire community, Kafusi won't let anyone fall behind.
This is a woman that jumps in with everything that she does, and all you can do is come along for the ride and enjoy it.
From her time volunteering at her kids' schools to being a member of the PTA, then serving on the Provo school board, Kafusi's focus is to lift people up, something she hopes the next generation of leaders continues.
I always encourage, from little girls to college students when they come in and visit with me, I need you. I need you at the table. You deserve to be at the table. You have a voice that needs to be shared and heard.
Her own 5 children, now grown, this busy grandma takes an hour each morning for self-care, meditation, reading, or exercise. She says it's the fuel she needs to balance work and life.
The Michelle that you see as the mayor working 80 plus hours, there's also the Michelle at home, which is putting in equal time giving love to her family and her neighbors. So she's got some secrets that she has not shared with me, but she's just a ball of energy. She never stops.
I've always been give me a task and I'll work really hard. I'm not afraid of hard work.
A handwritten note taped to her computer at City Hall reflects Kafusi's remarkable attitude.
Because I said I would. If I say I'm going to do something, I am darn well going to do it, and I am not going to stop fighting for it and working towards it until I cross that finish line with it.
She truly is a remarkable woman, and as I mentioned to you, this is one of her favorite and most important events, and she brings in remarkable women to share inspiration with remarkable women. And so I did want to run through our list of remarkable women today, just so we know where we're headed, and the schedule will move forward as is. So we'll be pleased to hear first from Mayor Kafusi, and then we'll hear from Sarah Tiao, and then Madeline Page, and then lastly Mackenzie Bauer. And then lunch is always looked forward to, and that will be a good time by, I just forgot the caterer. Marvell's, yes, Marvell's local caterer, and we get them every year, and we are never, ever disappointed. And then we've got a lovely musical performance from our Miss Provo and Miss Freedom Festival, along with Madeline Page again. That performance, let me just make note, because that is a change. So on your program, you show a musical performance by Miss Provo and Miss Freedom Festival. We found out that they are singing the same song as Madeline, so we are bringing the 3 ladies together. So you'll get to hear that as the first number when Madeline starts. So that's kind of a fun surprise for us. And then you'll get to hear a medley of Janice Cap Perry music after we introduce the Trailblazer Award. So that is as the program will go. And we're anxious to move forward with that. So here we go. On this day dedicated to honoring the accomplishments of women in our community, it is my pleasure to welcome one who fearlessly makes her voice heard, the 45th and first female mayor of Provo City, and I love saying it every time, Madam Mayor.
I get so nervous, right? I feel like can I please go home right now? But wow, what a stunning audience we have. And I wouldn't be able to start without having my dear girlfriend from City Council stand. So Rachel, will you please stand out? And Becky, I didn't see you, Becky. Stand up, Becky. I've got 2 council members here today. And Becky Bogdan, Rachel Whipple, and I also have our council member Craig Christensen's wife, Susan. You're part of it. Stand up. I can't do my job without them and their support, so I really do love them. Thanks. All right, so good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here, an honor to be here in a room filled with amazing women to share a bit of my journey. So picture this. I didn't exactly grow up in a Barbie dream house. Nope, far from it. In fact, when Nicole asked me, she's like, did you ever play with Barbies? And I'm thinking, I think my sister Lisa had a Barbie, but I don't think I ever had a Barbie. And we never had the Barbie dream house, but I come from a pretty humble background and one of 7 kids raised by a single mom, as mentioned, who showed incredible bravery in leaving an abusive husband. My birth home, just a modest spot, 2.5 bedrooms off of Center Street and 9th East. Now, despite all the challenges we faced, my mom never lost sight of her dreams. She knew our situation wasn't sustainable. So she made a gutsy decision to change things up. And just a side note, back in the 60s, nobody did this. Everyone was told to go home and just you'll be fine. Figure it out. But no, she finally had the nerve and had the gumption to do this. So watching her go for it, no matter what, became my guiding light. Her message was clear. With a good dose of determination and a lot of elbow grease, we could shape our destinies. My mom was my hero. She passed when I was 31 years old, so it just seems like I haven't seen her forever. So it always is a tender moment whenever I speak of her. So she taught me some valuable lessons, like when she went back to school at nighttime, 7 kids at home, and I'm just saying, we weren't probably the best kids. We were rowdy, we were rambunctious. I mean, I literally go on like 4 hours of sleep. I feel so sorry for her. Now, thinking back after having my own big family, I'm just like, go to bed for the 100th time. And I'm sure she probably felt that a million times. But she went back to school at night, training to be a nurse, which led to a hard-fought but challenging career working the graveyard shift at Utah Valley Hospital from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Talk about determination. She proved to me that if you want something bad enough, and you're willing to put in the work, you can make it happen. And that's why I live by this motto, because I said I would. I've carried it with me for years, and it was a wreck by the time I became mayor. And so my great girlfriend and assistant, Kay, she did this fancy reprint and lamination of it. It looks much better now. But that little note I have had with me from the very beginning. Oh, look, we're switching out Diet Coke.
Let's do it right.
Yes. As we all know, that is the true breakfast of champions. You'll see that and hear that noise every morning about 4:50 a.m. at my house. But because I said I would, and it's a reminder that if I commit to something, I'll figure out a way to make it work no matter what. My husband says I walk around with a sign on my forehead that says, "We'll work for free." And I do probably, and he probably doesn't love it, but it's not about money for me. It never has been, and it's just in my soul. It never will be. So let's talk about Barbie, shall we? She's more than just a doll. She's a symbol of empowerment and ambition for women and girls worldwide. She was created back in 1959 by Mattel. Barbie has come a long way from just being a toy through her various careers and achievements. She's broken through all sorts of gender stereotypes, showing girls that they can be anything they want to be. But Barbie isn't just about careers and fashion. She's about showing that who we choose to be really matters, that we all have the power to shape our destinies. She's all about resilience, confidence, and perseverance, three of my favorite words, and qualities that are pretty darn important for any leader, especially when times get tough. My own journey from scrubbing floors to serving as the mayor of our city is proof of what determination can do. I well remember lying about my age to get a job just to help my family make ends meet. I always like to tell, there's some of my high school friends in the audience, but I came out of elementary school, average size, showed up to 7th grade this tall. Like, who wants to be full grown as a woman when you walk into the most terrifying next 2 years of your life? That's me. And I just kept thinking in my mind, I'm just huge. I'm huge. But oh well. Everyone catches up eventually. But what was needed, and it wasn't glamorous, but it was a stepping stone for something bigger. Community service became my thing, starting with the PTA at my kids' schools. I was always on the lookout for those who needed a hand, especially kids like me who didn't have much. I was the free and reduced lunch kid, and back in the day we said free when we went through the lunch line. That would never happen now. I know it doesn't happen now. I remember hearing about how expensive the ACT prep classes were, and everyone telling me that my oldest daughter had to have it. And I didn't think of myself or my kids because they have a mom and dad that love them and we were there. But immediately my mind went to my mom, who could never have afforded that. So when the school board didn't jump in with my big idea for the free prep class, I ran for Provo School Board and did it myself. One of my proudest moments was giving kids just like me a shot at a better future, exactly as my mom did for me. Now as your mayor, I've been lucky enough to make a difference in our community. From the early PTA days to now, it's been about helping those in need and making our city a better place. Sure, it hasn't always been easy, but it's been rewarding. I often tell people, in fact, just even walking, side note, into my caucus meeting the other night, it took me about 45 minutes to go from the parking lot of the junior high to get to where I needed to go. And everyone had something to say, and I love that. I love that. And some were negative, but I'll tell you what, at the end of the night, when I'm finally walking out at 9:30, I had 2 people stop and share stories of amazing experiences with our police. One was with and I'll put our police up against any police department in the nation. They're the best police department in the nation. And the other one was about customer service. And I just got in my car and said, I love my job. I love it. I love everything about it. So together, my team and I, we have been able to achieve so much, from building a new airport and city hall to snagging a $50 million grant for wastewater saving projects, the biggest grant FEMA's ever given out. It's really intimidating when we're trying to solve this 100 years from now. I want my city to have water. What does that look like? And we've been working on it, and we came up with a solution, and all of a sudden, they tell me that I've been awarded the largest grant FEMA's ever been given, and they fly in on this FEMA helicopter that's super intimidating, and are like, meet at a park and stand on a stage and accept your $50 million. And I just, emotional, right? I love my job. It's so awesome. Provo even got named the nation's best performing city for 3 consecutive years by the Milken Institute. That has never happened in the city of Provo. Provo accomplished something that had never been done before, and it's proof that when we come together and work hard, anything's possible. So when I walk into city halls these days, it feels a bit like my own Barbie dream house. My home's a 1967 home, and it's had a lot of big old heavy kids and wear and tear. So yeah, it is really feels like walking into my own Barbie dream house when I get to go to work. It's a place where, as Provo's first female mayor, I can inspire young girls to believe in themselves and go after their dreams. One of the most impactful mayor moments was seeing my cute little granddaughter, Kalea. You know, my mom, my grandkids, they make me cry. I don't know why. And Kalea was in the audience during my State of the City address, and it made me think back. Come here, little girl. She's here today. Come grab me. And she's in a Barbie dress. She's like, I'm not going up there. Grammy's crazy to be in front of all those people talking. But it made me think back to watching my mom tackle things she never thought she could do and still manage to come out on top. Now I get to pass that gift on to Kalea and to all of you. So let's keep dreaming big, working hard, and aiming for excellence in everything we do. Together, we can build a future that's brighter and more inclusive for everyone. So thanks for letting me serve as your mayor. I always tell you how honored I am, and what a privilege it is. I love my job, and I know I just get to be in this little job for this window of time. But I want you to know I am working tirelessly and so hard on your behalf of the Provo citizens. So thank you for trusting me. So let's keep moving forward with courage, resilience, and unwavering determination. And remember, each and every one of you is absolutely enough. Thank you. All right, we're ready to go. So, the real reason you came today is now going to start. And we're going to start with our first guest speaker, which is Sarah. So come on up, Sarah.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Sarah Tiao, and I'm a refashion designer. I take outdated, thrifted clothes and transform it into new. And I am kind of at a stage where I'm rebranding because I've had a lot of changes in my life. And so I also talk about upcycling your life as well. So that's what I want to talk about today. Maybe I needed that too. Last year in the late summer, I went to a 2-week workshop in San Diego. And I've been to many workshops in the past or conferences where I went by myself, and whenever I had some free time, I would just stay inside the hotel and not go anywhere unless I was meeting someone, like meeting a family or a friend, but if it was just by myself, I would just stay. So this time, 1 p.m. rolled around, 2 p.m. rolled around, and I thought, do I go out? Because my whole life, I believed that I was not worth it if I was going somewhere by myself. And as a blogger, I've been offered many trips where I could choose anywhere in the world, and it would be complimentary. Plus, I would get paid to post on social media. And I thought, okay, as a mother to 3 kids, I was taught my whole life to put everyone else's needs before mine. So if I can't take my kids, and if it's just me, it's not worth it. So I would turn all those offers down. 3 p.m. rolled around, and I thought, okay, do I go out? I'm kind of scared of the world. I grew up in Provo, this little bubble my entire life. Grew up very naive, and I would say very protected, so I felt like I didn't know much about the world. 4 p.m. rolled around, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go out. So I got an Uber. I went to the beach, which was so close to my hotel, and I walked along the coast of the beach. It felt so nice, the soft sand in my toes, the warm sun shining down on my face, the warm breeze, and as I watched the people enjoying the beach as well, I thought, I'm so glad I came out. I walked for quite a while. I would say about 45 minutes to an hour. I just kept walking because it felt so good. And then all of a sudden, panic set in. I looked back, and I totally forgot where I started. And I thought, oh, shoot. And as I'm looking at the houses, some kind of, sign to tell me where I came from, I got a little scared. And then I had a sudden realization. I took an Uber. I can exit out at any time I want. And the Uber will meet me wherever I'm at. I believe there are two kinds of people in this world. People that know that they're enough, and people who do not yet realize that they're enough. It has taken me a bit to come to this conclusion for myself that I'm enough, that I'm whole and complete. And so I want to discuss the 8 beliefs that I've taken on myself that have helped me to have this mindset. This is very fresh, this conclusion. That's why the feelings are very fresh. Okay, so number 1, there's 8 steps to empowerment. There's many more, but today I want to focus on 8 steps. Number 1, I'm the creator of my own world. I'm never the victim. Once I realized that I'm responsible for the situation that I'm in my life, my whole life changed. If you think about it, if you blame everyone else and it's never your fault, and it's because someone else did this to me, you might think that's empowerment because it's not your fault and you're not to blame, but it's actually quite the opposite. Because when you put blame and responsibility on someone else, you're waiting and you're pausing on your happiness for someone else's timeline. Once they apologize to me, once they change, then I can be happy. You're giving your power away to somebody else. So at least being responsible for at least the reaction of what's happened to you. You are never to blame and you're never at fault, but you are responsible for the reaction to them. So once I realize, okay, I'm responsible, then I'm not waiting on anyone else's timeline. Because I can change myself, I can't change them, but I can say, I'm responsible, what can I do now? How am I going to react? What is going to be my next step? Thank you. This happens quite a bit. So once I said, okay, what can I do? I'm now at my own timeline, nobody else's. I believe if you have this mindset and you live with this mindset, you are more than 90% ahead of the people in this world, because so many people still live in the victim mindset. Number 2, what you do that is best for yourself always ends up being what's best for others. I have a perfect example of this. I was about 8.5 months pregnant, and my cousin called me and said, can you take my wedding photos? And I just take photos like for my blog. I'm not a professional at all. But I think he wanted to save money. And right when he was asking, my insides were screaming, no, I do not want to take pictures when I'm like almost 9 months pregnant. Take my nice heavy camera to another state. But I used to be a people pleaser, and I thought, okay, a good mom, a good person is someone that always puts someone else's needs before mine. That's what a selfless, good person does. So I said yes, and I took my camera, and I ended up dropping it, and it like dented the lens, but it still took some photos, and I'm not good at all. Like, I would never, like, I would pay you to have me take photos because I would feel bad. But I did my best, and I came home, and I forgot about it because I'm pregnant. I'm about to have a baby. And my cousin called and said, hey, I know you're about to have a baby. Can you edit the photos and send it to me before the baby? Because I know once you have the baby, it's going to be hard. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then, you know, the whole time in California was I was taking photos. I was kind of resenting the situation, kind of resenting my cousin for being so cheap, not enjoying the wedding that much. And so I cropped it, kind of like changed the editing, and I sent it. What you do that is best for yourself always ends up being what's best for others. I said yes. I had resentment. I didn't give my all. My cousin deserved better. I had the every right to say no. So it's my responsibility that I said yes. It's not his. And so he got these poor photos. He never posted any of his wedding photos. That's not what he deserved. If I had said no, which would have been what's best for myself, he would have hired someone, asked someone else that would have happily said yes, and it would have ended up being what's best for him as well. Number 3, say what you mean and mean what you say. That goes along with the number 2. When you're speaking truth, every word you say carries energy and frequency. So when you speak truth, it's at a very high vibration, very pure energy. But when you're speaking lies, maybe gossip, maybe sharing things that are not your story, things that are of negative connotation, it carries a very low frequency. The whole world works in energy. Everything's energy. So what you give out is exactly what the universe matches and brings back to you. So make sure every word you say is of truth. There's many tactical ways to still be honest and be kind. Or maybe there's at times where kindness maybe isn't the priority, but honest truth. But make sure your words match that pure frequency of energy. Also, it's very important to keep those words to yourself. Your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you will ever have. So if you say you're going to do something, make sure you keep that word. Because every time you don't keep that word to yourself, you're telling yourself, my words don't really matter. I don't really mean it. You are losing trust and respect with yourself. So make sure if you say something that you'll do something, especially with yourself, that you keep it. So that you build that relationship of trust and love within yourself. Number 4. Everything you ever need or want is already inside of you. So when you gain new knowledge, it's not new. It's something within yourself that you're remembering. That is why it feels familiar. That's why it feels right. Because it was already within inside of you that you had forgotten and you're just remembering it. That's why it's either people that know that they're enough or they just don't realize it yet. You don't become enough once you get a degree, get this certain job, once you look a certain way, once you have certain kind of influence or friends. It's realizing everything I need and want is already within-side. Number 5. Whenever you want to change your external environment, all you need to focus on is your internal environment. Your external environment matches your internal environment. That is the quickest way to change. So every invention, every change, everything happens spiritually first. and spiritually meaning within your mind. Then it matches externally. There's 4 methods. There's 4-step method that I do that helps with matching your internal to your external. And so I do this quite a bit. So you can call it like a manifestation hack, if you will. So on a paper, on number 1, the first step, you write down your current state. So think of like a goal that you want. Let's say it's a career. So you write down in number 1, my job title, maybe your relationship with your boss, the feelings, the emotions you get when you wake up in the morning, maybe your salary, your current state. Number 2, you write down the state that you want to be in. So whether it's a different job, a different position, maybe a better relationship with your coworkers or your boss, a different salary, maybe your lifestyle. You don't want to work, on Tuesdays and Thursdays because you want to go skiing. You write down the future state that you want to be in. Then number 3, you write down, okay, once I achieve that future state, what kind of emotions and feelings and the state would I be in? So maybe excitement, happiness, gratitude, feeling empowered, feeling excited. Maybe when you wake up, you say, I get to go to work today. Maybe you want to help people. You write down the state that you want to be in. And number 4 is the most important, is what activities that you can do right now, that brings those emotions and state. So what do you do that brings you excitement or joy or gratitude or feeling excited when you wake up in the morning? So write those down and then make sure every day you do those things. Doesn't have to be all of them, but make sure you do something from that list so that you become that state. That is the fastest way to manifest or bring things that you want in your life, is becoming first what you want to be. And then your external world will match that, and it'll come to you. Number 6. This is a Buddhist teaching that I love that's helped me so much. Suffering is when you wish the present moment is different than it is. I want everyone to close your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes. Don't think about the past. Don't think about the future. Don't think about what you have to do. Be very present. Pay attention to my voice and what I'm saying to you. Any sounds you're hearing, any silence, how you feel in your body right now, sitting on your chair. Maybe pay attention to the feel of the chair, the room temperature, the feelings that you get right now. And be very present. Only think about now. Okay, open your eyes. Thank you for doing that exercise with me. If you were able to be very present, you would have noticed that you didn't really have thoughts. Because if you think about it, thoughts are from the past or the future. What you have to do, regrets, remorse, shame from the past, or anxiety or fear of the future. But if you're very present and you focus on right in this moment, thoughts disappear. And thoughts could also be worries or stress. So when you surrender to the present moment, all suffering disappears. And also, problems just become situations. Situations are things that you have to handle in that right time. So if you are worrying about things you have to do, if you can't do it at that moment, if stressing and worrying helps the situation and makes it better, then worry all you want. But if you can't do anything about it in that moment, why worry? You're making it worse. Set a time aside to focus on that situation, but be present in the now. Number 7. It is never too late to have a happy childhood. So I learned this trick recently, and it is the coolest thing. So I call it time travel because I don't know what else to call it. Think of a moment in your life from the past. It doesn't have to be your childhood, just in the past. Maybe the first thought that comes up to you, first memory, and you can do this later on too if nothing comes to you yet. And imagine a timeline. This is the past. This is the future. This is your present moment. Go back to that memory and reframe your story. So let's say you had parents that were never there for you and you had to grow up really fast. Maybe you had to take care of your siblings. Maybe you had way too much responsibility. Maybe too much was given to you. Look back and maybe you can reframe it to something else. Perhaps having parents that weren't there for you all the time, it gave you strength to rely on yourself, to trust yourself, and to realize that you are strong. Maybe it helped you be more responsible. Maybe it helped you to think outside of yourself and know what service is. Maybe someone else's lives have become better because of your example and your strength. Once you reframe that, it changes your current state. Now, whatever that painful memory was, it now changes into something of empowerment and gratitude. So once your current state has changed, your whole future will change. Do you agree that that's time travel? Like, am I just a nerd for thinking that's the coolest thing? So to me, time travel exists. If you have fear and anxiety of the future, also think of the timeline. Go to the future and think of the state you're in 20 minutes after the successful completion of that event that you're scared of. So I did this morning of me speaking. I was feeling nervous. I was like, And I was like, okay, I know this exercise, time travel. And so I floated up to my future, and I was like, okay, I just completed this talk. It was so successful. Everyone loved it. People's lives have changed. So proud of myself. Feeling really good that it was successful completion. And I just embasked in that feeling in that moment, and then I came back to the present moment, and the anxiety was gone. Time travel. And last but not least, number 8. You are way more loved than you think you are. You're way more important than you think you are. You have way more help than you think you do. You have way more resources and power than you realize. There's been studies done where people who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve those goals. I always wondered why. I kind of knew, like, oh, maybe if you write it down, you're seeing the words, you know, like your brain, your mind connection. And I have a personal story of my theory on why, one of the reasons why it helps you achieve that. So on the next slide, you'll see, I had my kids write down their vision board a few years ago, and they wrote down everything that they wanted. And that night, I looked at their vision boards, and one of my kids, my oldest daughter, she wrote, I want to be as good of a singer as Ariana Grande. And I thought, okay, I need to help her make this happen. So for a week, I researched the best singer, or best voice teacher, and I researched, read reviews, called people, asked Facebook, Instagram, my friends, and I found the most amazing voice teacher. It took me about a week. And then once I found the voice teacher and set up appointments with her, I had a sudden realization. This is why if you write it down, it's more likely to happen. Because me as a mom, I love my kids. I'll do anything to help them achieve their goals and to guide them in the right direction. Angels are spirit guides, God, higher power, whatever you call it, your ancestors. While they can't read our minds, they can see what we write down. They can hear what we say. My time and my resources are limited as a human being, but your helpers up there, they have way more resources and connections and time. If I were to leave this earth, I would still help my children as their guardian angels. If I saw the list, I would still help them. Except I would have way more connections. I'll be like, I know Ariana Grande, I'm sure. Or I know her great-grandmother, I don't know. And I would do everything I can to help them. So of course, your ancestors, your angel guides, people that love you, that came before you, or God or higher power, they want to help you. One of the biggest eternal laws is free agency. So if you don't give them permission to help you, they can't help you. So ask them for help. I say all the time, help me meddle in my life as much as you want. Like come in, disrupt, whatever. Be careful when you say that because it really disrupts your life. Because your words are power. That's why it's called spelling. So don't say that unless you mean it. You have way more resources and way more help than you realize. So tap into those resources. It's unlimited. It's abundant. So after that beautiful walk on the beach and realizing that I can exit anywhere at any time, and the Uber car will meet me anywhere, wherever I'm at. I had the driver take me to a really good Thai restaurant. I ordered several dishes. I ordered the Thai tea. Have you ever had it? It's like creamy, cold, sweet, but not too sweet. Highly recommend. I put my phone away. I was very present. I enjoyed my meal. And I had another sudden realization. This is the first date I've ever taken myself. That I'm enough. I'm more than enough. That in order to be the best mom, best friend, best person that I can be, I need to take care of myself first. The more empowered and happy and fulfilled you are, the more power you can give to others. The beautiful thing is when you serve other people, when your canteen is filled, it overflows. You tap into this abundant energy. But when you're serving others, when you are running on 20%, 30%, 40, 60%, it depletes you so fast. So do what is best for yourself. It is also what is best for others. After the restaurant, I went back to the beach. I watched the sunset, watched the hue of the red, yellow, and pink and orange. And like any ending to a good date, I gave myself genuine, sincere compliments. And then I asked myself out on a second date.
Hey everyone, how are you doing? Good. You all look beautiful. I love the pink, I love the lavenders and all the colors. So I just want to kick off with a little video clip for all of you.
Ready, set, action. Is it on? A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But now that I'm way up here, it's crystal clear. Now I'm in a whole new world. Now I'm in a whole new world with stop, in my head. Please stop. Yeah. I'm not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you tell me it make a break in this, 'cause you're on your way. Say it's amazing. She's done. Take care of sick and ill people, because take care of people. Take care of people, that is good. Of course you have a friend, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Of course you have a friend, oh yeah. Okay, I'm going, guys. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Okay, ready? Let's get it started in here. Thanks a lot. Bye. Ready, set, action.
Thank you all. As you can see, I loved singing when I was little, and I still love singing, and it just so happens to be what I get to do full time. I feel so blessed. And my sister in the background of the video clips, it's that some things never change. So, but I get it. I sing 24/7 around the house, so I get it. I have been singing ever since I was a little girl. At age 11, I performed in front of an audience for the very first time, and after that, I continued to perform locally in competitions in church. I knew it was something I loved to do and felt confident going on stage. As I reached my teenage years and entered high school, that confidence began to dwindle. I had a hard time making friends and feeling like I fit in. My freshman and sophomore years felt very lonely. I started to notice the things other girls had that I didn't, and I fell into a pit of comparison. I began to feel like I wasn't pretty enough, cool enough, or just enough. I developed crippling social anxiety, and I started avoiding social situations at all costs, even with friends and family. I lived inside my head and overthought everything I did and said. How many of you have had social anxiety in your life before? I see a lot of hands. Yes, it's not fun, but it's something that I know a lot of us can relate to. At school, the lunch hour was my least favorite part of the day because I didn't have friends to spend my time with. I would walk around the school grounds to make it appear like I had somewhere to go, or I would find a tree to sit under and read a book that I didn't really care about, so I looked busy. My self-esteem had hit an all-time low. And as you can probably imagine, this affected my desire to want to perform or be on stage in front of anyone because I cared so much about what other people thought about me. And this quickly turned into paralyzing stage fright. I turned down every opportunity to perform, and I decided that maybe this whole singing thing just wasn't for me. I would like to sing a song for you all, and it's very fitting with the Barbie theme. And for this song, I would love to welcome Miss Provo and Miss Freedom Festival to join me, and also my husband, who's here, and he's going to accompany us on the piano. This is What Was I Made For, the Billie Eilish song. You guys probably, most of you have heard. And at this time in my life, I really questioned what was I made for. I questioned what was my purpose. What did I have to offer? And so here we go.
I used to float, I used to fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I was made for.
Thank you. So, fun little story. It was kind of introduced in the very beginning, but this was very spontaneous that we did that song together today. So it was awesome. I'm so grateful that I got to do it with you guys. I really feel like that added so much. So at the beginning of my sophomore year, I decided I was unhappy and something had to change. So I set a goal at the beginning of the year that I would put myself out there and accept any opportunity to perform that I could. Not long after, I entered a local competition here in Utah. Here's a little picture from that. I didn't place, but that was never the goal. I felt proud of myself for doing something so far outside of my comfort zone regardless. But little did I know that this little singing competition would lead to so much more. A producer from NBC's The Voice. How many of you have seen The Voice before? Lots of you. So I grew up watching this show, and never did I ever in my wildest dreams think that I would get to go on this show. A producer from The Voice saw this video, the video from this performance in this competition that I did, and they invited me to come and audition for season 6 of The Voice. As you can probably imagine, I was not jumping for joy when I heard this news. I was terrified. I was in this place where I felt so insecure and so terrified. I couldn't imagine putting myself on that stage or even remotely allowing for that chance to happen. I got a little tricked into it by my mom, who said, "It's a great audition experience, and you probably most likely won't make it because thousands of people audition." So I was like, okay, she's probably right. That combined with me feeling like on the inside, if I didn't do this, I probably would regret it for the rest of my life, and I would always wonder, what if? So those things combined, I decided very reluctantly to go and audition for The Voice. I ended up making it through the initial rounds, and I ended up getting to do a blind audition. And something that a lot of people don't know is there's a lot that goes into this audition. First off, it was months before this. There was a couple audition rounds before the TV audition. And my mom and I was 16, so had my mom with me throughout this whole process. We were living in a hotel for about a month. We were sequestered in this hotel. We had to check out. Anytime we wanted to go get food or something, we could only go across the street. It's how it was for all the contestants. They're very private, secret. They don't want anything getting out to the media about what's happening. So I was doing choreography sessions, voice lessons, interviews, and just preparing for this 1.5 minute performance. So there was a lot of buildup over this month, a lot of anticipation, and just perfecting this song for this audition. I remember the day of my audition, after all of this buildup, and I was backstage with my mom, and it was probably about 9 o'clock at night. I was one of the last to go that day. And I don't know how. I was reading a book. I don't know how I was relaxed at that point. I think I just thought I wouldn't go that day. And a producer comes in, and he's like, "You're going to go on in 20 minutes." So I get separated from my mom, go on a freezing, cold, terrifying golf cart ride because I'm just full of nerves it was on Universal Studios set, to the backstage area. And here I am backstage, and the audience sounded a little something like that. It was just terrifying. I could hear the coaches' voices, and I could hear Blake Shelton making jokes, and I peeked around at one point, and I could see, Blake Shelton's a big guy. I could see his broad shoulder, sticking off the side of his chair, and I was like, that was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. And I just didn't know how I was going to get through this. And I decided, holding my microphone in my hand, that I would just take a second to quiet my mind, and that I would just visualize this performance. And all I knew was that I just had to find some inner peace, and I had to believe in myself to get through this. And I knew that somehow, some way, if I just could believe in myself, that maybe I could get through this. And I didn't have a result in mind. Genuinely just wanted to make it through my audition without, puking or crying or forgetting the words. I took my mark on stage with just trying to maintain this inner peace, and to be honest with all of you, the rest of it kind of goes blank. But I was lucky enough to have two of the coaches turn their chairs. Usher and Shakira were on my season. I ended up going with Usher, and I got to work with him throughout a good chunk of the show, as well as, I don't know if my little clicker thing is working here, a few back there. Perfect. That little picture on the left is from the blind audition. It was incredible getting to work with him, and then from there, I also did another battle round, and I got stolen, got to be on Team Blake, and work with him for a little while, and from there, went to the top 20 playoffs, and that is where my journey on The Voice ended. But through this experience, this terrifying, still to this day, I always tell people, this had to have been the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my life, still to this day. And I've had a lot more performance experience now, but I would be terrified if I did a voice blind audition. So I don't know how that 16-year-old girl did it. I really don't. What I learned through the show, I learned that I was capable of so much more than I thought. Being put into a competition where comparison was more prominent than ever really challenged me to shift my focus to the things that made me unique and set me apart from everyone else. Slowly, over time, I started to believe that maybe I was good enough, just as I am. I started to love myself a little more each day by pushing myself out of that comfort zone, pushing myself beyond what I thought I was capable of, and overcoming my fears, making that choice. Slowly, over time, gave me more and more confidence. The more that we try to hide who we are, the more we lose who we are. When we're so busy spending all of our time trying to be like someone else, or trying to diminish who we are, or hide it, like I was doing for so long, we won't be able to reach the potential that each one of us has. Each one of us has unique gifts and talents and abilities, qualities that we're meant to share, and we're meant to use those to influence others for good and to create a positive impact that only we can do. Coming off of The Voice, I decided music was what I wanted to pursue, and my exposure on the show had opened a lot of doors, and I was very blessed, and I got to do a lot of really amazing things after the show. I quickly realized, however, that social media was a necessity if I wanted to succeed in this industry. I had to be on there, I had to be active, and I had my very first cyberbullying experience after my final round on The Voice. This was my final round. After this performance, I already didn't feel super great about it. I didn't feel like I did my best. And my family and I, the show was pre-taped, so it wasn't live at this point. And so I knew I got off the show before it was aired. And my family and I went on a little trip to St. George, tried to get away so that I could maybe be a little distracted when the show aired, maybe not feel quite as down when I got cut. And I made the mistake of, after it was aired, I went on YouTube to the video version of it that they uploaded to YouTube, and I decided to read the comments. And I still remember very, very vividly to this day, because this was really my first experience being exposed to cyberbullying targeted at me. Here I am, this 16-year-old, very fragile teenage girl, still just trying to figure out who I am, and there's just so many comments on this video ripping me apart. Some of these people probably were adults on the other side of the screen. People had a lot to say about the way that I looked, the way that I sounded, you name it. And I just remember at that time, I was such a sponge, so I just soaked it all in, and I didn't know how to let it roll off. And I ran out of the room that I was in to where my family was, and I was crying. And in that moment, I felt worthless. I felt like the words that they were saying, they must be true. And I really took them to heart. So this affected me a lot. Over time, this has been a hard lesson that I've had to learn over and over again as I have continued to be on social media. How can I tune out these negative voices, these bully voices? Because as someone who is in the spotlight, and you don't even necessarily have to be in a position of trying to be in a spotlight of any kind, just any of us who are on social media, we can come across it, right? Cyberbullying, it just happens. Anyone can comment what they want. There's trolls out there everywhere. And something that I learned, and it's been difficult, and it's something I constantly have to remind myself, is that we do have the ability at the end of the day to choose which voices we listen to. The more that we recognize our own individuality, the less what other people think or say will matter or affect our self-esteem. I have a few quotes I want to share with all of you. The first is simple. Only you can be the best you. Comparison, it's something that really distracts from this idea. As long as we are focused on other people and trying to run their race instead of our own, it's going to keep us from feeling happy, from feeling self-love, from seeing what makes us so amazing. We're not going to see it. We're going to be blinded, which leads to my next quote. When you run your own race, do not worry about the next person's pace. Mind yours. After all, this is your own race, not theirs. Like happiness, unhappiness usually springs from a comparison. And finally, speaking on comparison specifically, comparison is one of the quickest ways to steal joy. I've experienced this time and time again, as I'm sure all of you have in my life. And I've realized that the more that I shift my focus to what makes me me, and what makes me individually great, my own path, my own purpose in my life, I'm so much more resilient to those outside voices or to my own mean voice inside of my head. I would love to sing another song for you all. This is a song that I wrote when I was a sophomore in high school, so this is kind of a full circle thing for me, because I wrote this during that really dark time for me in high school when I felt super invisible and lonely. And there was one day after school that I came home, I sat down on my piano, and I decided I just needed to vent. So I wrote this song, and I wrote it just for me. I never thought anyone would hear this song. But something that's really interesting to me now, I've sang this hundreds of times probably, is the lyrics in the verses. They tell a lot about the place that I was in at the time and how I felt, how hard it was for me. But the choruses remind myself that I am irreplaceable. And that's the title of the song. And I just find it interesting that even though that young girl at the time didn't fully believe that she was, deep down I think she felt that she was. She did have worth. She just didn't fully realize it yet. So here's Irreplaceable.
Can you see me over here? Should I just disappear? I tried to fit in next to you. Guess I wasn't clear, or maybe I'm just not good enough. Feel so alone here, can't even be myself. Trying to fit in, left all I'm on the shelf. Do I belong here, or should I just stop trying to be some other girl? When I find I'm all alone, I gotta tell myself I'm irreplaceable. Bending backwards, trying to be someone else. I tell myself I'm irreplaceable. Whoa, somehow I find a way. It's never easy. Why is it so hard? All I've ever wanted is to be like them. I don't understand why I'm who I am. When I'm fine, I'm all alone. I gotta tell myself I'm irreplaceable. Bending backwards, trying to be someone else. I tell myself I'm irreplaceable. Whoa, whoa. free. I may not be like them, but that's okay. I can only be me. When I fight, I'm all alone. I got it to myself. I'm irreplaceable, bending backwards, trying to be someone else. It's to myself. I'm irreplaceable.
Thank you so much. More recently, I was in a long, unhealthy, emotionally abusive relationship for 8 years, on and off. Over time, I once again lost a lot of self-love and worth. I started to believe the lies that I was being told for so long, and that maybe that was what I deserved. This relationship became a cage that I was stuck in. Every time we broke up, I ran back. I made excuses for his behavior, and I clung to the good too quickly, forgetting how bad it really was. Many times since coming out on the other side of this, I have asked myself, why did I stay for so long? Now in hindsight, I am able to see that I simply did not have enough self-worth or love to leave something that was hurting me so much. During a time when I was broken up with this person, but still very fragile and susceptible to going back to the relationship like I had many times, I was able to spend time around a longtime friend. I quickly began to notice how he respected me, listened, and validated me, and how he seemed to really see who I was. He valued my qualities and cherished the very same things that were an annoyance to my previous partner. Over time, I began to realize that maybe I did deserve better, that maybe I was worthy of being treated with kindness and respect, that maybe I was worthy of real love. Eventually, I got to fall in love with this person, marry this, quote, friend, who's no longer a friend, of course. He's my husband over there. And that's us. We just got married 5 to 6 months ago, so very exciting. Thank you. Now, although he was a huge part of what rescued me, because he showed me contrast, ultimately, it was my choice whether or not I was going to leave that previous relationship and to love myself enough to change my own situation, to release what no longer served me. I had to choose myself over an addicting and familiar cycle that I had been repeating for 8 years, over a person who did not value who I was. This being said, it's really important to surround ourselves with good people. You can be the strongest, most confident person out there, but over time, if you're surrounded by people who are jealous, resentful, insecure, or bring you down in any way, that can chip away at you over time. It will, every single time. So love yourself enough to choose to surround yourself with people who bring you up, who see your worth, because that will only help you to love yourself more and to see your value more. It's also important to take control over the stories that we tell ourselves and that we play in our minds, because sometimes we really can be our own biggest bully and worst critic. I have now been on a journey of changing the story that I play in my mind about what I deserve and who I really am. Because of what I've been through in the past, in my past relationship, I have to remind myself over and over every single day, consciously, and sometimes I really have to say it out loud, that I am good enough. Self-love is more than just loving who we are. It provides stability in a world that throws a lot at us, a world that constantly tries to message to us that we have a lot that we have to be or look a certain way to have worth. Self-love is saying that regardless of my successes, status, life circumstances, downfalls, flaws, insecurities, experiences, and so on, I am enough. So I want to challenge every single one of us in this room right now to shift what we think, how we think about ourselves, to think about what makes you, you at your core, to shift your focus from what I lack to what I have, and what makes you different from anyone else, to tell yourself that you are worthy, that you are good enough because you're human, because you exist. You don't have to do anything to be good enough. You are good enough, just as you are. There's so much in this world that only you can do. Words to touch another that only you can say, an impact that only you can make. What makes you, you is the greatest asset that each one of us possesses, down to the smallest freckle on our skin. I would like to end with a song, and this is actually the song that I sang for my blind audition on The Voice. It's called Titanium. This song is one of my favorites to perform for many reasons, but it's actually kind of become a motto for me in my life because this song is all about strength and resilience. And the lyrics say, I am titanium. And I want each one of you women in this room today, if you walk away with anything, just know you are enough. No matter what life throws at you, you are strong enough to get through anything that life may throw at you or that anyone may throw at you. You are enough. And this is Titanium. Thank you so much.
Shout it out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticized, but all your bullets ricochet. You cut me down, but I get up. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim, fire away. Show me down, but I won't fall. I am Satan, I am. You show me down, but I won't fall. I am Satan. Cut me down, but it's you who have further to fall. Ghost town and haunted love. Raise your voice. Sticks and stones may break my bones. You're talking loud, not saying much. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim, fire away. You show me down, but I won't fall. Into its sign I am. You show me down, but I won't fall. Into its sign I am. Into titanium. Stone heart, machine gun, firing at the ones who run. Stone heart and bulletproof, Thank you so much.
I almost don't even want to talk because that was a beautiful moment. I feel inspired, and I hope you all do as well. We have one more speaker, but our food is ready, and we want Marvelous to be showcased the way they are intended to be showcased. So we would love to invite you to now start making your ways back for lunch, and then we will look forward in a little bit to hearing from Mackenzie Bauer and move forward with the rest of our presentation. So enjoy the food.
That means you, too. And do something about this
I hope lunch was was pleasant for you. I know, again, it's something we've gotten every year. Marvelous Catering, a local caterer, and they do a great job for us. So I hope, please continue to eat and enjoy. But we have, a few other things we want to get to, and we want to get you on your day as well. So I wonder how many in this room have heard of Thread wallets or owns one? By a raise of hands, yeah. All right, I would say the business model of our next speaker is going really well, and I'm sure she'll address the creativity with which she and her husband worked together to bring this. It's a really fascinating business story, a fun family business story. So I am pleased to invite Mackenzie Bauer to join us on the stage. Give her a round of applause.
I had a pink, can I put this up a little bit? I had a pink jacket on, but I am a t-shirt and jeans type of person. So I feel very inadequate next to these beautiful women in their like blazers, and I'm just like, you know what, that ain't me. So I'm just showing up as is. My name is Mackenzie Bauer, as I was introduced, and my husband and I started a company back in 2000, and it was 14, but when we originated the idea, but it was really in 2015 when we started. And I just have to say, I am so grateful that we started our business here in Provo. Provo is the best city in the United States. I went to, yes. I went to the mayor's State of the City address, and I kid you not, I was sobbing. As they showed screen after screen of the projects that she's working on and all the amazing things that are happening here in Provo, I was in tears. I was like, we could not live in a more beautiful, loving, accepting, knowledge-driven place. This is such a wonderful place, and it's been a wonderful place to start a business, and I'm just so grateful I get to be in this room. Usually when I'm asked to speak, it's geared more towards my business story and how we started and where we're going. And I decided, because of the group of women and the variety that we have here, which I just think is so cool, we've got people of all ages and backgrounds in this room, I would focus more on a little bit of a personal aspect of my growth and who I am today. So anyway, glad this clicker works. I'm going to show you this video. This is a kind of cheesy, kind of silly video that we made a few years ago to kind of introduce the story of our company. So instead of giving you the whole spiel, I'm going to show this video and then we'll move on. Let's see. I don't know how to do the clicky thing up here. There you go.
This is the story of Thread and the one wallet that started it all. It's a story of love and adventure. And murder most foul.
Murder?
Okay, not murder, but it involves a surfer, Broccoli, a beautiful girl, her sewing machine, and this guy.
Ooh, carry on.
No, sorry, not that guy. This guy, Colby. And one day he wiped out. Big time.
Big time.
You see, Colby had a problem. He had too much stuff weighing him down.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
He salvaged some of his stuff, but not his dignity. Colby naturally needed a better way to carry his
Language. There's kids in this video.
Every wallet he found online was a boring, fat brick that would totally kill his vibe. And so he wandered, heavily burdened, without a purpose and without a wallet, until he found himself at the local food land, where he saw something that would forever change his life.
A beautiful woman?
No, a clump of broccoli, bound by a rubber band. And he took that rubber band and left.
Without paying for it?
And without the girl. You see, he can't meet the girl until he gets his stuff together.
And that's what he needed the rubber band for.
So he could get all his stuff together in one tidy place. And he realized he didn't need that much stuff. And now it could fit in his pocket easily. Nothing fell out, and he was never tempted to put anything in there he didn't really need. Now he had everything he needed to carry on. Playing soccer, getting frozen yogurt, skateboarding, getting frozen yogurt, surfing, and getting frozen yogurt. It was a pretty good solution.
Until it wasn't.
You really should do something about that.
So he did.
That thing literally looks like poop.
But it held together.
Did it?
Fortunately, that's when he met the girl, and he realized that they could make something special together because she had
that smile.
A sewing machine.
I totally have a sewing machine.
So they finally went out?
Not exactly.
He didn't.
Well, technically, they both did. They went back to her room and made wild, passionate wallets.
So many wallets.
Tons of wallets. Did I mention that she was living with her parents?
I think they're making wallets.
wallets.
But they weren't done yet.
We're not done yet.
That's perfect.
Trust me.
And he did trust her. And it got perfecter. And everywhere they went, they took their cool minimalist wallets and sold them at the farmer's market and at the local surf shops. And they sold like hotcakes.
Cool minimalist hotcakes.
And because they were minimal, they could take them on adventures. To the beach, to the mountains. Wherever they went, they could grab them and go. They could take them anywhere, even to Provo.
Provo, Spain?
Provo, Utah, where they got married and made more wild, passionate wallets and started a wild and passionate family and built a wild and passionate company focused on helping you live a life unencumbered.
Wow, this kind of makes me want to get my together.
You mean stuff. Remember the kids? Now everything Thread makes is beautifully designed to simply carry your things. Carry it in your pocket or on a lanyard. Hold your lip balm or your AirPods. Whether you're a surfer, a skater, an artist, athlete, an adventurer, or an old boring couple who sometimes just wants to stay at home and watch TV.
We only do that some of the time.
So if you or anyone you know needs to get their stuff together, go to Thread Wallets and get your stuff together and live the wild and passionate life you were meant to live.
Hey, this is starting to sound kind of like a commercial.
Well, is it working?
Awesome. Thank you guys for the laughs.
This is the story of Thread.
Okay, so why am I here? Like I said, usually when I get asked to speak at events, it's more of my business background, which I think, I'm really proud of. We've been featured on the Inc. 500, which is America's list of fastest privately held companies in America. We've been featured on that twice. I'm a Forbes 30 Under 30 alumni. We have been ranked one of the fastest growing companies in Utah multiple times. And those are all amazing accomplishments and things that I'm really proud of. But what I'm more proud of and why I think I'm here to speak even more so than all of these things is because of this. I am a woman and I am a mom and I am a wife and a sister and a friend, and those are things that we can all relate to, right? This is a picture with each of my girls. I wish I could kind of move around a little bit more because I can't see the screen as much. But the first picture on my right is my daughter Sunny. She's our newest. She's about 18 months now. And then the picture in the red is me with my daughter, pregnant with my daughter Scotty back in 2019. And then this is back in 2016, this picture right here, or beginning of 2017, pregnant with my daughter Ray. So it has been a family affair since the beginning. My husband and I worked together. Obviously, we started it together, and then we have multiple family members that work for us. So this has been really fun. Here are a picture of my girls now. We have Ray, the oldest. She's there on the right. Scotty, my middle daughter, and then Sunny right here with the cheesy grin eating her yogurt land. And I wanted to say that I think it was the birth of my daughter Ray that really kind of got me into this foray or this love and interest and passion for women and women's rights and women's equality, all of these things. These are things that really matter to me because I have 3 daughters and I want them to grow up to be strong, independent, powerful in the home and outside of the home. So this is what I care about and am passionate about, and it's because of them that I am passionate about all of you guys as well. In a nutshell, here, Matthew McConaughey here, I love women. I love you guys. I just think that we are so incredible, so incredible. I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know what movies this is from. If anyone knows, do you want to shout it out? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That's what I thought. Ladies of Provo City, frost yourself. Okay. Yes, exactly. So anyway, I am so passionate about women, and there's a book that I've read that I think every one of you should read if you haven't. It's called The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates, and it is a phenomenal book. But in the book, she says, being a feminist means believing that every woman should be able to use her voice and pursue her potential, and that women and men should all work together to take down the barriers and end the biases that still hold women back. I love that quote, right? Yeah. Every quote, every page of this book is full of lines like this where you're just yes, yes, preach it, preach it. So I've been thinking, what holds us back? And as I was preparing for this speech, this was really something that I thought about because the theme is I am enough. And these are some of the things that came to my mind. Let's see, I tried to add a little animation to this. You can see it right here. Ooh, the little, yeah, that's nice, huh? Okay, so these are just a few things that hold women back. And in Melinda Gates' book, you can read all about the data and the science behind these things. This isn't what I'm going to get into today. But we have poverty. We have access to contraceptives. This is a huge one that she talks about in her book, that in developing nations, the lack of access to contraceptives really holds women back because they can't plan when to have kids. They can't go to school. They can't work because they don't have control over when and how and all these complicated dynamics that go into family planning, right? We have equal access to capital when running a business. Do you know that less than 3% of venture capital dollars goes to women? That's crazy, right? Less than 3%. And it fluctuates a little bit, but I think last year it was under 2%. So this is really like sad, crazy things that affect women's ability to show up and progress. Career gaps, right? A lot of women take a huge career gap when they have kids, and then their kids grow up and they want to go back to work, and they have a huge gap on their resume. That's a problem. Childcare. How expensive is childcare? It's the worst, right? I just want to go to work and show up, but it's so expensive. My whole paycheck is going to cover paying for my childcare. And then societal norms, which can also be religious norms, right? There's a lot of things that hold us back. But the one thing that I really want to focus today on as we discuss, where should I be pointing? Okay, is our own self-limiting beliefs. I think that as women, there's all these other crazy external factors that are working against us. But I think this right here is one of the biggest things that works against us. And it's been one of the biggest things that I struggle with. And I am going to just share with you one thing that I've learned recently that has like changed my world. It's just like exploded my worldview and helped me feel less mom guilt and less shame about like some of my belief systems, things like that. And I think that if we can all shift our thinking, we can show up more and we can be present more and we can advocate for ourselves more, which means we can advocate for others more as well. So I want to introduce you to something called, I don't think I put this slide in here, but it's called dialectical thinking. Does anyone know what that is? A few people maybe raise their hand. Okay, so dialectical thinking is changing your but statements to and statements. And I'm going to give you a few examples of things that I think about on a regular basis, but these are my but statements, okay? I love my job, but I need to be with my kids more. I'm not being a good mom if I'm giving my time to something else I enjoy. How many of you have had a similar thought to this? Like if I'm showing up at work or I'm showing up for my hobbies or I'm showing up for other things, it's taking time away from my kids, and that must mean that I'm not a great mom. Okay, next, I want to lose 5 to 10 postpartum pounds, but I'm way too tired to do that, right? Saying but right there pretty much negates the whole first half of that sentence. When I was talking to someone about this recently, they said that they had a professor that said that the but means, and behold the underlying truth. So in these statements, it's like, yeah, I really want to do this, but the underlying truth is that I'm too tired to do it. I really want to be a good mom, but this underlying truth is that I'm just not that good of a mom because I show up for work too much. Right? Okay, I really want to establish a morning routine, but I've never been a morning person. So I really want to establish a morning routine, but behold, I've never been a morning person, so it's never going to happen, right? How many of you have caught yourself in these thinking patterns? I'm sure every one of us have. Okay, so this is a little slow. So what's wrong with these statements? It's just what I was saying, is that when we think this way, when we use these but statements, it means that two things can't be true at one time. But as women, there's something that I've learned and something that I've become so passionate about helping other women learn. It's that two things can be true at the same time. You can want to lose weight and also be really tired. I can love my job and be a really good mom. And these are just Okay, I'm gonna got ahead of myself in my head. But with these statements, we are never enough. We're never enough for ourselves when we're using these types of statements. And that's so damaging to ourselves, to our families, to the communities that we want to show up and serve, because we are enough, right? Like, we are complex, multidimensional human beings, and we can live in complexity, and two things can be true at one time. So these are me switching. I'm going to give some examples of me switching my thinking. So this is dialectical thinking. It's the idea that two seemingly opposite things can both be true at the same time. And why this has changed my world is because it's helped me with my concerns and doubts within my religion, or with politics, or with relationships. Whatever it is, two things can be true. This can be really beautiful and have a lot of nitty-gritty details that confuse me. That's great. Life is complex. So this is me switching my yes but to yes and. I love my job, and I should probably think of ways to be more present with my kids when I'm with them. I can love my job, and I can love my kids, and I can love showing up for them. And guess what? I can love my kids, and I can want to get away from them all the time, right? I want to lose 5 postpartum pounds, and I'm really tired. I am. That's just the reality, is that it's going to be hard for me to do that, but I'm going to do it, because two things can be true at one time. I really want to establish a morning routine, and I've never been a morning person. But guess what? I can do it. I can do it. The power of "and" in my personal life has changed so much, and it's helped in even arguments with my husband, because this is how I'd usually go. Like, he'd say something, and then I'd go, da-da-da-da-da, yes, but behold the underlying truth about what I really think about you, right? But "and" brings back the power to our statements and to the relationships we have. You can be strong and vulnerable. You can be doing your best and still need to try harder. You can be capable and you can need support. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And this is something that I've learned in my home life, in my marriage, with my kids, with my business, everything. This has shifted my way of thinking, and this is what it can do for us. This is something that I think is what's most powerful about dialectical thinking. It allows you to see things from a new perspective and allows us to make changes in our life based on new ways of thinking. And when we can do this, we can be enough. We can become enough, because we are complex beings with a lot of different varying emotions, and showing up in two places can be hard. Being at home, being at work, having your hobbies, having your passions, having your talents, having church responsibilities, whatever it may be, makes life complex, and two things can be true at one point. And when we can recognize that, then a lot of our thinking will shift, and we'll be welcoming new perspectives into our life. I want to finish with this powerful statement right here from that same book, The Moment of Lift by Melinda French Gates. I really think that when we can shift our thinking collectively as women to, like, I can do this, I can do all these things and be all these other things, we uplift ourselves, right? Like, we change the way we view ourselves. And when we can uplift ourselves, we can uplift those around us. And this is one of my favorite quotes from that book, because when we lift up women, you lift up humanity. And I just want to end with that. Thank you, guys.
There we go. Oh, can we go back to that Trailblazer slide? Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know that you can have a good enough thank you to our speakers this afternoon. I was whispered over to the mayor, about the book. I had never heard of that book. I'm immediately going to go buy that. I love that I will go home today, and I will I will improve one thing in my life, and likely a whole lot more. And that is the beauty of this day. And I'm grateful to the mayor of all of the limited resources that a mayor has, she dedicates enough to make this event continue the way that we want and need it to go. And she wants to elevate Provo women, and she's certainly doing that. 9 years and hopefully another who knows how long we get her for mayor? 8, 10, 12, who knows? We'll take her as long as we can keep her. Let me give you the history of the Trailblazer Award. Again, an award that the mayor decided to create in 2020. As women, you will likely remember that we celebrated 100 years of the 19th Amendment, so significant for establishing women's right to vote. And when we, yes, please, absolutely. Absolutely. The courage of those suffragette women, and if you don't know, they had a yellow rose that symbolized their effort to bring equality to women. And this yellow rose became the symbol for Mayor Kaufusi's Trailblazer Award. And you can see we've put it on display here. And it's been, so 2020, so we are giving our 5th award, our 5th Trailblazer Award this afternoon, unless I've miscounted. And it is always, as I mentioned, the absolute highlight and conclusion of our Women's Day event. So because we've chosen the yellow rose, we're calling it the Trailblazer Award, I would like to share with you what we think a trailblazer is. Trailblazing women teach us to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because it matters. That making a difference may lead to ridicule, and for many brave women it has, but it's worth it. That taking a leap of faith is scary because of possible failure, and women have failed, but you should still do it. Trailblazers are the drop in the pond women whose influence spreads throughout their communities far beyond comprehension. I have a feeling that in this room we have drop in the pond women. And so today, what you learn, drop it in the pond for others to learn and hear so that we can really create ripples of amazing in Provo. So I am honored to add one additional name to our illustrious group of Trailblazer list, or our illustrious group of Trailblazer women, with a name that you will likely remember from your childhood, Janice Cap Perry, and I'm going to invite her to the stage in a minute, but Janice Cap Perry's music has really lifted communities for years. And so before we go on with that, I am going to, in just a moment, invite Zach to come up, and I'm going to get your name right, Zach, just a minute. Zach Adamson, who came, offered to come in short order, and thank you, to play the music that is so reflective of who Janice is. And so just by way of introducing Janice, and then Zach will have you give us a nice sampling of her creative talents. But Janice Cap Perry has a prolific music career with more than 1,300 songs to her name. And what I found interesting, Janice, as I was researching, none of those songs were written before the age of 38, I believe, is when she started her music career. So nothing before the age of 40. So when you think about the ability to make your life what you want it to be, regardless of where you sit right now, Janice is a great example. And how did this happen? So music was always important in her life, but the opportunity did not come until she broke her ankle at the age of 38. It was at that point that she found the time and the immobility to actually devote some time to a love that she'd not been able to give enough attention to, music. So a lucky break, perhaps not for her, but I would say a lucky break for the generations of us who have been able to express our faith through her music. So let's get a little sampling of that music, and I invite Zach up to the piano, and then we will invite Janice up after that. Thank you, Zach. It is my honor to invite Janice Cap Perry to the stage. And ladies, if you would, let's give her a standing ovation, please.
Stand because you're the superstar. So I'm just going to say a few things about how deserving. I don't even need to say anything. The music was so, it speaks for itself, right? And to know that I grew up with her children. Her son, John, who is here right now. I mean, we had so much fun, didn't we, John? I mean, just a blast growing up in Provo and Dixon Middle School and Provo High, the real Provo High. And all the crazy little, like, I'm not even going to get into it because moms don't want to hear what their kids do, right?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Well, we'll talk after. But boy, what an amazing family and amazing talent. And the beauty of it is that she's our Provo gal, and she did all of those songs. And I sang every word in my head as I've been primary president multiple times, and you know, in our religion they say sing a hymn. I never sing a hymn. I don't know those, but I know those, and so that is where I go. So she's very deserving, and this is an amazing award I came up with. I just feel it's so significant to really spotlight these amazing women who live amongst us that otherwise we may not know of their greatness and their story. So with that said, I asked her if she'd be willing to speak for just a few minutes, and she said yes. So I'll turn the time over to my friend Janice. Just make sure we get the microphone.
Thank you, Zach. You played those just like I do. Actually, I lost the use of my hand right after I started writing music. These fingers pull under and my wrist pulled down when I tried to play, so I don't play quite like Zach. In fact, I've had to learn to sit in my chair and write the words and let the music be written in my head, and then I can play enough to go get it written down. This lady is my hero. She came to another event where I was years ago, and I just thought, wow, Provo is in good hands. And everything that she has done is just so much to my liking. I am old enough that I need a note or two with me now. So I'm just so glad there is a Women's Day in Provo. I love the idea, and our own mayor has made us so proud to be women like she is, and we can aspire to be that anyway. It's very, I looked at that and wondered what it was up here. My goodness. The BYU library is taking all my awards now. They're not hanging on my, I'm going to hold on this to until I die at least. Okay. That could be any day. But I am 85 now. I had to retire from a lot of things that I did earlier in my life, but I just finished writing my funeral song. It's called One Last Song. My granddaughter said they would reluctantly agree to sing it because they'd just be crying. But I had a good time writing it, and that's all I care about. I've lived my life in two parts, really. I grew up on a farm in Oregon, and I had an older brother who just taught me to love sports. And he taught me all the different sports. He taught me especially how to fast pitch. And so until I was 40, no matter where I lived, and there were many places after I married, I was always on a fast pitch team. I mean, I was on a team because they needed fast pitch. And until I was 40, that was just a major part of my life until I broke my ankle once playing basketball. And when that happened, my foot was in a cast, and my bishop came to my house the next day, and he said, "While you're laid up, could you write music for our road show?" And I said, "Do I write music?" He said, "You're about to." I said, "Well, what makes you think I can?" He said, "Just a really strong feeling." Well, I was laid up, so my husband figured a way that I could elevate my foot in the cast and write 15 minutes of music for our road show. And he said, "By the way, we want to win." And I thought, well, I'm competitive, so. As soon as I started writing that music, something just happened to me. I thought, why have I not been doing this in the past? And I just knew I wanted to. We won first prize for the best music. My brother was in a competing ward, and he's an artist, Gary Cap, and he won first prize for his the scenery that he painted. So that kind of made him feel okay about it, but we won the overall first prize. So I knew I wanted to write music then. I knew I couldn't safely play sports to the degree that I had the first 40 years of my life. And so we started a family business, and it started working really fast. No one was writing very much back then. John eventually took over managing our business, which he's done for 30 plus years now. And now he's my slave, helping me around and helping me to get everywhere I need to go and being sure I don't fall. So when I was about 80 years old, much younger, John brought a magazine in from the mailbox, and he said, "Mom, look at this. LDS Living has listed the 100 coolest LDS women." And I said, the 100 coolest LDS women still living. And I said, "So?" And he said, "Well, you're one of them." He said, they're in alphabetical order, so I don't know how you came out, but I said, "Can you be cool at 80, John?" And he said, "No, I thought you'd like the part about still living." Before my husband died in 2018, we traveled to almost every state in the nation and to several countries doing musical programs. And that was a very happy time. The saints knew my music, and I could do a medley of 6 of my primary songs without giving them a lyric sheet. And that happened even in the other countries. After Doug died, John went with me so I could still continue doing that until they had a couple of strokes, and I couldn't quite keep up with that very much longer. I've mostly recovered from them. I can't walk securely, and I have a little speech thing, but I still have, I just stay at home now. I've been writing music to enter into the hymn book. I hope something makes it. All they'll tell you now is if they're considering something of yours, they'll let you know that. And if they have little tweaks they want to make, they'll tell you those too. And so I do have, and the hymns and the children's songs are going to be in the same book now. So they want the kids to sing the adults' hymns, and they want the adults to sing the children's songs. Can you imagine how much how much more they'll enjoy sacrament meeting? I mean, if they have songs that they know, I love that idea. After my second stroke, I came home and I was not in good shape. I could walk with a walker, and my speech was affected, but I could speak somewhat. And Kevin Morthen, our BYU president, just lives 2 doors from me. And he said, "Can my wife and I come down to check on you?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great if you don't have high expectations." And he said, "Well, we do want to come and visit." And he said, "Well, so we visited, and he asked how it was and so forth. And then he said, "I'm really here on business." And I couldn't imagine what that would be. And he said, BYU has been considering who they want to give a, wait, what is it? Honorary doctorate award. And now I can't even remember how to say it. And I said, "Well, how did that happen?" He said, "Well, your son John sent us a letter and told us he thought you'd be a good candidate. And we were just in the process of deciding, and they chose you." And I said, "Well, I'm limited. What does that mean? Do I have to do anything?" And he said, "No, you've already done it." I said, "Well, I only went to BYU 2 years." And he said, "It's not just that, it's what you've done since." And he said, "You'll need to speak at graduation." And I said, you can hear that I can't. My speech was much worse than even. And I said, "And I've never spoken from a teleprompter. I can't do it." And he said, "It's 2 months till graduation. I think you'll be better, and they'll help you. They'll teach you how to use a teleprompter." He said, "Anyway, write your speech. In case you can't give it, we'll post it on." So I worried about that so much up until graduation. And just the week before COVID canceled graduation, I won't say that I prayed that it would, but I might have. Anyway, I called up his office and said, "That means I don't have to speak, doesn't it?" And she said, "Well, yeah, there's no one to speak to." So on graduation day, Kevin Worthen called and said, "Could I come over and make your presentation in your kitchen?" He said, I want it to be on graduation day." And I said, "Sure, that'd be great. That's perfect. I don't have to give you my talk, do I?" And anyway, so he came over, and he was masked and gloved and looking very official, and we went into my kitchen, and I had put on my BYU sports sweatshirt, a pretty one, and he kind of put the drape around me a little bit and made the presentation in front of my family. It was so perfect. And someone, I don't know who, sent it into the church news, and they published that picture of him presenting that in my BYU sweatshirt. Didn't have to say anything. So I'm continuing to write as much as I can. With a collaborator, I have recently written over 14 years' time. Recently. We've written 44 new Book of Mormon narrative hymns. And she's a wonderful scriptorian and poet, and I've set them all to music. And that's pretty much what I've done lately. And every general conference, afterwards I work with another collaborator, and we write songs, hymns, based on the talks of all the apostles and any women who speak in the sessions. I have loved that. I love writing hymns. I think I've written over 300 now, and I don't know that anything will come of them. I've entered one that I really, really loved, and I've never heard anything from that hymn contest. But many of my children's songs that Zach played are under consideration, and that's as far as I'll go with anybody right now. So I'm hopeful. I've loved this day. I love our mayor. I think she's just a jewel, and that I think we all want to re-elect and re-elect. I do. So thank you for this additional moment in my life that I'll always remember. And it's really a wonderful thing to be involved in writing gospel music. I'm trying to remember who was speaking. Was it Mackenzie? I'm trying to think that I can still be a good grandmother and still write some music.
All right, before I let them exit, I wanted to can we put up the slide with the sponsors further down? As I told you, the mayor takes what very limited resources we have and makes sure that this event is always a priority. This event, however, would simply not happen without the support of sponsors, and many of these have been with us the entire time. So please, a round of applause for our sponsors. So one of those sponsors is the beautiful Foxglove, and if you ever need floral help, then they are your place to go. So I am honored to give these to Janice. Yes. And then another additional sponsor that we have is Minky Couture. And so I also want to keep Janice warm for the rest of the winter, and so we have loaded her up with a luxurious Minky Couture as well. And I'll let the mayor take that. And then lastly, I've got the mayor up here, and I loved the words that Janice had to say. I truly just personally, try not to tear up, I'm not going to work. Consider the mayor to be a tremendous role model, a tremendous mentor to me. I count myself very lucky the day that she found me and brought me back into local government. I will run as fast as I can with her for as long as she wants me to run with her. She is a wonderful mayor, a beautiful person. She is a role model, and her team found the perfect Barbie to give to her. It looks just like her. It looks just like her. And so I truly believe our mayor should have her own Mayor Barbie. So this is what we're going to do here. So now I have to say, oops, we did it again. We planned too much material for the time that we had. We wanted to do a Q&A, but we have run over. So what I would love to do as we end, I'm going to let Janice go down. I've kept her up long enough. She'd like to sit. But I would love to invite all of our speakers to join us back up on the stage. We've got gifts for you as well. And then I would like to do our, what's our way? Yeah, we're going to do our giveaways while you're, well, go ahead and hold the thought. We're going to do our giveaways first. Do we have a list of what's in there, Kay? Do you want to read it? Yeah, we're going to just bring Kay up here. Let's bring Sparkly Kay up here. We're bringing Sparkly Kay up here because she helped work the bag. Sparkly Kay, a round of applause for Sparkly Kay. Come on. Again, none of this happens without a lot of behind-the-scenes work, and so we've got ladies that have been milling around who have done a lot of this work. So I would like Kay to kind of outline the basket. Yes, I will do the Vanna White. Hold on.
Okay, she's Vanna.
There we go.
Okay, we have $400 in Breeze credit. We have a 3-month Y6 yoga membership with a mat and a towel. We've got a Minky blanket. We've got, what's over here? Oh, the hydro jug. That's the new cool thing, right? So we have the hydro jug. We've also got a Barbie, sunglasses, luggage tags, 2 tickets for tonight's Barbie Bash, and what else? I had it. Oh my gosh! One of the most important things: we have a thread wallet fanny pack. So when you're traveling, you are all set. So that's what we have.
Right. Thank you. Yes, clap for the basket. This is the highest value basket we have ever had.
$800
Yeah.
value.
All right, and we are working. Now we've got, let's go to the slide that shows, all right, right here, not everybody can win, but you're all winners, right? Now if I go to the next slide, is it going to show? All right, okay, ready? We are going to go random. Here we go, and it is, here we go, Jennifer Starkley. Where are you, Jennifer Starkley? Come on down, come on. Jennifer Starkley, come find your, I know it's a struggle. Find your way. Hey, but by the way, we are so crowded in this room because it sells out every 2 weeks. So as we watch Jennifer struggle through, let's remember it's because this event is so popular, thanks to all of you. All right, while we're having Jennifer walk, let's go one more time, one more random. Here we go. The second winner is, oh wait, here we go. Alicia, is it Hubert? Am I saying it right? Woo, come on down. And then while she's coming down, and by the way, next year, you just never know what we're going to bring. So I hope all of you sign up and sign up quickly, get your spots. This day just begins with this event, and I hope you will go online. We have so many businesses who are offering classes today. There's a card-making class just right outside at 1:30. There, of course, let's go to the Barbie Bash slide. Here we go. If you want a good time tonight, Tara, go ahead and raise your hand. Her team has been working hard to bring the Barbie Bash to a fun end. So I invite you to join that as well. Join as many of the classes as you can. And then I am going to turn the last few minutes over to our mayor to end the event that is so important to her. Thank you so much.
I'm huge. I don't need to step up. I can step. I just want to say thank you again for everyone making the time. I know time is valuable, and the fact that this event, we put up the event, it goes live, this particular event sells out so quickly, and then I just get slammed by people until it happens. Like, Mayor, come on, bring on another, 200 seats. It's fascinating because when we started this idea, I think we had like 3 little tables in the old City Hall, and now we're at 250 just for this event alone. So thank you for your support, but more than anything, thank you for showing up for each other, because it really is about women supporting women, and I really appreciate that. I'd love to invite the speakers up. I have just a little thank you gift for them, because as they were each talking, I was so touched by every single thing they said. In each way they said it, there was something I could completely relate to. I think it's so funny. People tell me all the time, Mayor, you just are so, you make it look so easy to speak. And I'm going to tell you right now, I get sick to my stomach, I get sweaty palms, I think, what have I got myself into every single time? I had a politician friend tell me, oh, after the first 3 months, it's so easy. And I'm just like, dude, it is not easy. I'm 14 years old in elected office, and I still just want to turn my car around and drive home and cry. But these ladies are so inspiring, and just know how much I love you and I appreciate you and everything, bit of value you brought to our Women's Day today. So we just have some, well, we'll do it fancy. So this is a little wet, so don't get it on your beautiful suits. And yeah, we. Yeah. I wrote thank you cards.
That's Madeline.
This one's Madeline. And this one's Mackenzie. Oh, and I don't need flowers. I mean, I'm a tightwad. If they're not from dandelions in my backyard, I'm not taking them. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to point out, I had someone ask me about the birthday cake right here. So why is it there? Because today is Barbie's official birthday. And now Nicole's making us sing happy birthday. Let's sing happy birthday to Barbie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbie. Happy birthday to you. Okay, everybody, thank you for giving us your time. I hope it was worth it. I hope you found value, and just know I love you. I love being your mayor. I had a citizen call me the other day after I taught a class and said, can you please make stickers that say my mayor loves me? I'm like, I need to make those. Because she just said, we just feel your love. And so anyways, just know I love you. And if I had a sticker, I'd give you each one today. Travel home safely, and thanks again.